Hello, welcome to Sandbox Project. And yeah, so welcome. It's my first time, I think, for any streams that I'm performing. It's my first time to use like a total lights kasi wala lang. Gusto ko lang may iba. So I'll try to make this work. Siguro kasi sa iba yung kulay, yan. Tsaka para ma-force din ako na matanggal yung mga distraction sa likod. Except for the salamin. Hindi ko siya pwedeng tanggalin kasi yan yung pinaka hmm, parang best na position niya. Yeah. So, or like best place niya there. So, Sandbox Project is my um, experimental portion or experimental series. And kumbaga magre-react ako sa mga bagay na nakikita ko or I'll share something na totally out of curiosity, more on deep dive and everything. So tama ng Hanash. For today's Sandbox project, kaya nga tinatawag na sandbox kasi ano siya, para playground. Ganon. Testing everything. Sandbox. Basta ganon. Ito-test mo everything. So, this is just me testing stuff and na-record ko siya then separately para to make sure na let's say ma-interrupt siya in between is at least meron kasi ako experience before na na-interrupt yung stream ko and totally na-stop siya. So, sayang yung ano ko, hindi ko siya na-record. Sayang yung stream ko, diba? So, yeah. Yun nga, today, I'll be um I'll be sharing I'll be watching Poppy's what video about or like her story or her video that she released recently. I think this was 3 days ago. So it's gained like 50,000
As you can see, the
views right now. So yeah. This is 14 minutes, so I'll try to make it as 14 or maybe 20-25 minutes. O orasan ko na lang yung sarili ko. So let's make it 15. Okay, orasan ko na yung sarili ko for this one. Here we go. Okay, let's hear out what she has to say. Okay, by the way, for context, I know marami siyang subscriber, nasa 70K siya at this time. So, I think dadami pa naman siguro yan. But, nakilala ko siya more on sa starting, isang video lang ating pinanood ko, dalawa, na about starting her life over. And I think I watched that last year or early this year. I was in a totally different headspace, and that was the moment when I was like burning out at work or preparing to transition my life into to transition my life at that time. So, yeah. Anyway, without further ado, let's start it.
as you can see, the last video that I uploaded on this channel was 4 months ago. A lot has happened and there's a lot to update you on. I have
Let me see. Mas mabilis ata. Okay. 15 minutes. I think mas mabilis pa ito matatapos kasi yung playback speed ko is 1.5. Medyo matagal kasi siya magsalita. So, yeah.
literally tried so hard to come back online. Every couple of weeks I would be thinking about it, but it has just been really hard. And I want to share a personal story of what has been happening in my personal life. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I know that a lot of you found me for my inspirational or motivation videos. And I think when that happens, it's so easy to think that like my life is perfect. I have no problem and I have it easier than everyone else. And not just me, that's probably the same way that you think about other influencers or motivational speakers that you look up to online. The truth of the matter is we all go through similar things. We all
It's true. She was very real in that aspect, in a sense na we don't see, yeah, ang thinking na natin is kapag hindi active, maybe hindi siya nagiging consistent or what, or masyado siyang busy. But right now, sometimes absence, tsaka minsan kasi din, absence from the video itself. I actually looked up her channel and parang yung ibang videos doesn't do well as much as this one. So yung ibang channel, ay ibang videos nasa 4K, 5K, 7K. Yung next ata na okay is nasa 11 or 16K, basta under 20K. Then, yun. It's easy to think that we have so many followers. I don't know. But yeah, I'm talking in the perspective na as a beginner kasi wala pa talaga akong mga videos um na nagbo-boom. Isang video lang yun. Pinakaunang video ko which is about sa oregano. And I don't want it to be that way. But yeah. So let's start. Let's resume.
Have hardships in life, and sometimes things just go wrong. Things just happen when you don't want them to. I know that most of you found me from my moving blog, where I moved from London, UK to Florida
Yeah,
to run a
that's
small
what
business. And I moved
that's what I
with my
watched.
husband, and it was meant to be a good start for us, a great start for my career, good start of our new life in a new country. It was supposed to be something positive, but as you can see, I no longer have a ring on my finger. Yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram, you may have got a glimpse of this already because I did post something about it. Not my finest moments, but I'm just a girl, and sometimes my emotions takes the best of me. I knew my soon-to-be ex for a very long time. I think I knew him when I was like 22, and now I'm 39. So 17 years. We dated back briefly when we were 22. We broke up and then we kind of found each other again. So I've known him for a very long time. But throughout the marriage, one of the things that really put a strain on our relationship was having children, starting a family. We always had, we were having difficult time conceiving naturally. And when we were living in the UK, you could potentially get free fertility treatment from the NHS, which is the National Health Service, I think that's what it's called, for free. And we were trying to get it, and somehow we couldn't because they said our chances are just very low, and basically the government didn't want to spend money on a couple that has a very low chance, I guess. So if you follow my Instagram, you also know that early.
Now I wonder if the reason of their separation is the low the low chance of conceiving. This is what I fear actually in the future.
This year, we traveled to Thailand for fertility treatment, which we had to pay for. And we did 2 rounds of IVF, ICSI, but unfortunately, we did 2 rounds and they didn't work. We were devastated. I was devastated, let alone all the hormones and stress and everything that, went into my body. It was a really.
Yeah, it's actually I had a conversation with that then sa friend ko dati na yun nga parang sabi niya is alam mo yun parang unfair din sa babae daw na I mean unfair sa babae na yung babae lagi yung may nag-adjust ng hormone and everything especially to conceiving. Hirap talaga maging babae, no?
Really, really difficult journey. I had to go through grieving the child that I never had. And
I feel you, girl. Even though hindi pa ako nasa ganyang point where I want to conceive, I'm just like, especially with my case ngayon na meron akong cancer and the chemotherapy um, has affected my overall cycle. It was just a grief until now. I think until now. Pero somehow, siguro kasi dahil yung grief na for that aspect sa pagkakaroon ng child is hindi ko pa siya natatap kasi meron pa akong mas urgent or mas kailangan tutukan. But yung mental headspace ko ay hindi alam ko na at some point it will take some time for me to get over that fact na na-disrupt yung cycle ko. I'm not saying I'm not having or not I won't have the chance of conceiving in the future. But um, yeah, that is a reality that I'll have to deal with at some point, like maybe years from now, if I get to live. But yeah, if I get to live like beyond a year, 2 years, I hope so. Yeah, so it's a part, but anyway, it's her story. So let's see.
And at that time, I think this was February 25, February this year, I thought
Mm.
that was going to be the worst feeling I've ever felt. But turn out I was wrong. And by the way, I am not just going to sit here and talk about all the, problems or like the sad things that's happening in my life. At the end of the video, I'm also going to share what I've learned and how I'm planning to move forward, because I think in all of my videos, I suppose I try to, although I'm honest about what's going on, although I'm sharing my personal experiences, at the same time, I try to add something that could be beneficial to someone that's going through the same thing. And this video is no different. I'm going to be telling you how I'm planning to move forward with the situation that I'm in, with all the feelings.
I'm actually happy that she's focusing on the actions that needs to be done, instead of lamenting on the current, instead of lamenting on the actual situation. And I think yun yung nasa ano ko eh. Yun yung nasa, well, I'm at this point na I will have to talk about my stories. Hindi ko pa siya ma-release, hindi ko pa siya mapapublish, but that's on my pipeline. But yeah, I mean, my channel exists for me for now, and sa ngayon hindi pa ako muna mag-care on the external portions of the internet. So I'm just sharing. Like yeah, this one is like hang out with me in a way. So I'm not even sure if this is Sandbox Project or off the record ba dapat to. But yeah. Total off the record to, no? Kasi parang sort of a vlog to.
Involved. I don't really want to go into detail because I don't want to do like this blame game of whose fault it is, especially doing that online. Just say that,
I appreciate that.
something happened. And I don't think I can, when I learned about what has happened, I don't think I can explain this feeling because it's a feeling that I've never really had before. The best way I could describe was that I was enraged. I was livid. It took me back to the time that I was with my first boyfriend. His dad was cheating on his mum, and he was going to leave her to be with another woman. I saw that day that my ex-boyfriend's mum, she was crying, begging, she was on her knees, begging him to stay with her.
Okay, let me just.
Because I was feeling, because it's a feeling that I've never really had before. The best way I time that I was with my first boyfriend, his dad was cheating on his mum, and he was going to leave her to be with another woman. I saw that day that my ex-boyfriend's mum, she was crying, begging, she was on her knees, begging him to stay with her, and he left anyway. And I remember at that point in time, I told myself as a young girl, I said, Poppy, don't ever let yourself be like that. So
Yeah.
as soon as I learned what happened, I knew, I told myself, this marriage is over. But then I had to deal with the aftermaths of all this, of the decision that I made.
So I guess her husband cheated on her. That's why she brought it up, right?
To end the marriage. And it was rough. When you live with someone for so long, we've now been married for 8 years, so almost a decade. I feel like when you're with someone for that long, you kind of almost lose yourself because you are in a companionship of two people together, both of you compromising, both of you adjusting, both of you starting doing something that you never did, but you're doing it because the other person does it. So I felt like I've lost a lot of myself in the marriage. And I actually have my notes right here. I thought about the times where, if I were to script a video or something, I kind of almost had to ask him for his approval, if he would be okay for me to share certain things. It just feels so weird that I didn't have to do that anymore. It's just not, I don't know if I'm explaining this right. It's a weird feeling where you slowly sort of finding yourself again or slowly rediscover
Freedom.
yourself again. And I think this is kind of the journey that I am on
Freedom
right
to
now,
express.
which I will talk about later. But I want to talk about the feeling of failure, I think is unavoidable when you're going through something like this. To feel like you failed life in some ways. We have like a beautiful house, 3-bedroom house in London. I thought life was great. We were doing great. Like I thought I was doing all the right things in life. We had a 3-bedroom house. Even though when we moved to the US, we were looking into renting a 3-bedroom house with a big garden in Florida as well, which we were just
I'm sorry, girl. I hope it won't be the case for me. But yeah.
about to move into. But now I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment on my
Mm.
own.
She
It's
transferred,
really
she moved.
it's really difficult to not feel like I have failed marriage, relationship, or life in some ways. Because, sometimes we can be so harsh on ourselves. We are our own worst critic. And I am trying to just not being judgmental to what I do, the way I am, or how I feel, but at the same time, be mindful.
It's important that she's saying that that part of not judging yourself. Yeah, to be that headspace is a priority for someone who's undergoing life changes like that, life transition.
Of it. And I found that really helpful because, a lot of times we give so much grace to other people. When other people sort of fail or disappoint us, we can forgive them so easily. But somehow when we feel like we fail or we disappoint ourselves, we find it so hard to forgive ourselves. So
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. It's hard to forgive yourself for something that has failed, for something that has failed to happen.
if you're going through something similar, that's something that I would really like to encourage you to do. You can go through all these feelings, be mindful about how you feel, but then at the same time, don't judge yourself too harshly. Don't judge yourself the same way that you wouldn't judge your best friends or someone you love. And that's something that I'm trying to do or learning to do throughout this
For
journey. Because
yourself.
obviously when these things happen, we are going to feel certain ways. We're going to feel guilty, we're going to feel shame, we are going to feel like we don't matter, we are going to feel like we're just not good enough. And it's okay, you have to feel the feelings. I think that's what I've learned. I also want to talk about like the hardest part of breakup. People think that the hardest part of the breakup is because like you no longer have that person to do special things with, to go out for dinner, to do, to go traveling with. And me and my soon-to-be ex-husband, we traveled to so many countries together. But I have come to realize that actually none of those memories are something that I really miss. What I have missed after the breakup and being single again is actually like the little things in life, the daily thing, like cooking together or like, having someone to talk to when you wake up or like him making me coffee in the morning, for example.
Yeah.
Like that little things are just the things that I miss most. It's actually not the grand gesture that I miss. And that kind of surprised me because it's also something that we have learned to enjoy. It's also something that we have learned that this is how we do life together. So that's
Wait. Let me just charge my laptop. It's kind of, yeah, just a sec. And I'm back.
been one of the most difficult things, having to relearn. But I also think, or try to think, that actually, as the day goes by, every day is an opportunity for me to relearn, for me to relearn how to do life again, for me to relearn what I actually enjoy myself without being in a relationship. And I am quite excited to see where this journey is going to take me, the journey of rediscovery, living alone, and maybe another reinvention. Who is this new Poppy without being in a marriage. I'm excited for that journey, and you know, if you're going through something similar, please do share in the comments because I like to hear your stories too. So speaking of that, as I have been away from YouTube for a while, because obviously I was going through all these, I know I have a lot of inspirational videos, motivational videos on this channel already, and that's probably something that I will continue to upload from time to time. But for now, I think I want to document this journey of living alone, finding myself again, and rediscovery on this channel too, in a very authentic and natural way. So I am going to do perhaps like living alone series, because yeah, living alone is hard. Living alone again after a marriage is hard, you know, financially, emotionally, all things involved. So those are coming. Yeah, this is just meant to be like a quick update of what has been going on and why I have been gone. I do miss being on YouTube, and I am so glad that I managed to get myself out of the slump and get myself together and sit down and make this video. I miss you guys so much, and yeah, you'll see more of me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
So yeah, that's I love that though. I'm just yeah, YouTube is a fun thing to do. And you can have a community in there, especially people if you found your um if you found your community in there, that's nice to have. So yeah, good luck, puppy. And I hope I can have that same journey as yours. So yeah, thanks for watching with me. And I guess um I'll see you on the next one. Let's see. So thank you for joining with me in watching this Sandbox episode. Um yeah, it's pretty fun. Wala makita niyo yung transition. This is yeah. Siyang cute ng pusa, di ba?